the Sweat Spot interview series. I'm Big T here with Tyler Uher. Say hi to everybody, Tyler.
How's it going? I'm Tyler. I'm from Akron, Ohio. I'm 24 years old, and I like to do a lot of action sports, a lot of climbing mostly. Trying to get into some other stuff here in the next couple years. Trying to get into some mountaineering. Just climbed Whitney for the first time this past winter. Going to try to climb Denali next June, and really trying to get into kayaking too. I'm going to try to kayak the Mississippi in like record time next year. So some goals I got on my list there.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about your goals. Actually, let's talk about Denali, like you mentioned. So how do you plan to, tackle this feat? I mean, it's a pretty big feat. Let's hear how you plan to prepare for it, and like what your time frame is for doing it.
Yeah, so I noticed back in my high school days that I have like an insane amount of endurance. I'm also really good on running on a really low amount of sleep. I used to do a lot of like other I don't know what kind of climbing you would consider it, but I was really big into like climbing bridges, skyscrapers, things of that nature. And a lot of people might have heard of this before, but one of my most infamous climbs was a telephone pole in Athens, Ohio, where I actually got electrocuted. After that happened, I kind of broke all the bones in my leg. So I got rods in my leg now. And I kind of retired from climbing bridges and skyscrapers and trying to move more into a little safer activities like mountains and whatnot. I think it'll be easier on like my family and friends. They don't really like me climbing the buildings and stuff anymore. So how I'm going to prep for Denali though, I'm starting to take fitness a lot more serious now. Now that I'm getting into that aspect of climbing, just started meal prepping. I'm starting out like 3,000 calories a day and trying to get like 180 grams of protein in me each day. So that's kind of where I'm at right now as far as meal prepping goes.
Sure. So you're saying that, that experience you had with the incident that you had with the light post and everything that it did to your family, it did to you, honestly, years after, it's kind of shaped you into who you are right now and kind of your goals going forward, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm trying to do more, trying to get more into, outdoor rec climbing, rock climbing. And then also I mentioned kayaking too. That's another big thing on my
Yeah.
list that I'm trying to get into.
Yeah, for sure. That makes a ton of sense. I think that's going to be good for you and for everyone else going forward. Obviously, it's still a ton of adrenaline. I know you love adrenaline. Why don't you talk a little bit about the specifics for Denali, and then we'll go into kayaking the Mississippi later. I really want to hear about like the specifics for Denali. What do you like? How big is your bag? How high is Denali? Those kind of things.
Yeah, so I just started climbing. Just tried mountaineering for the first time this past winter. Did Whitney. It was extremely easy. So Denali, I'm going to try to do this not this June, but June of 2023. Denali's sweet because it's the tallest land mountain in the world. From base to summit, I think it's around 18,000 feet. Altitude, it's just over 20,000 feet. So it'll be like the first, real deal mountain that I climb.
Yeah.
And as far as the gear goes, still need to save up for a lot of gear, but most people recommend about a 100-liter bag. So it's kind of what I'm going to be looking at as far as the pack size I'm going to be carrying.
Sure. And you use like all season gear in terms of like your tent and like your sleeping bag and everything. And then what are those things called that you put on the bottom of your boots? I
The
don't know.
crampons.
So what are they?
Crampons.
Okay. And you'll probably have those. I think
Yeah,
you already have those, I'm sure, since you climbed Whitney, but
yeah. So I actually have like a hybrid type of crampon. The boots that I used for Whitney are more of like a hybrid boot. For Denali, you need more of like a high altitude boot, and you use like full auto crampons.
yeah,
They're a little more extreme, but it's for colder temperatures.
sure. Do you plan on documenting this climb and everything you do leading up to it even?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I've never really been into filming videos or anything like that, but I'll probably do some like I might try to do some YouTube prep videos beforehand, training videos and whatnot, and then I'll definitely try to get as much footage as I can on the mountain. A lot of times it's hard though because it's so cold and it becomes such a hassle to pull out a camera when you're just trying to climb. So
For
kind of see
sure.
how that goes. I'll probably just bring like a GoPro or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was thinking about getting a GoPro with like the chest attachment, so you could put it literally right on your chest, and you don't even have to worry about like fumbling around with it. I think that you have a great opportunity to document something that almost nobody get to do or can do. And that's why I have you on here. You know, you're breaking barriers, you're pushing the limits of things, and you have a very unique perspective into what I deem to be fitness. You there, Tyler? What I deem to be fitness.
Yeah.
And that's what anyone else that like dreams of being a mountaineer or dreams of like even climbing Mount Whitney. That's what I want you to like kind of, and you have detail exactly what it takes to do that. So I guess in one sentence or more, very, very short, condensed answer here. What advice would you give somebody who is starting out in mountaineering right now?
It was really hard for me to find a lot of videos on YouTube as to like getting started. A lot of people don't aren't really involved in the sport. I think it's kind of like a newer thing that is becoming popular.
Yeah,
I definitely recommend. A lot of people say that Whitney's a little extreme. I don't think so. So I think if you're pretty actively pursuing fitness, like if you're just like more than the average person, if you're just going on runs or you're lifting 3, 4, or 5 times a week, I think you could probably handle it. And you'll meet a ton of people on the mountain too. So a lot of times like you can go in the summer. It's a lot easier to climb in the summer, and then you can meet people out there and get some advice from them too.
sure. So you mentioned the gym a little bit. What do you do in the gym that helps you prepare for something like this? Is it like the stair stepper? Do you do a lot of weightlifting or things like that?
For Denali, yeah. So before Denali, I'll probably start doing it like more so stairmasters. Right now, I'm just trying to lift heavy and trying to put on a lot of muscle mass. At the moment, just lower reps, heavier weight, and mixing that with my new meal prepping. Hoping to put on some. Kind of want to put on about 15, 20 pounds before the end of summer. So that's the goal right now.
Okay, so like high rep endurance stuff, but you're increasing the amount of food that you eat, so you put on a little bit more muscle, make it a little bit more easy to push yourself through those types of I guess those elevations. I'm not a
Yeah.
mountaineer, so I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, but that sounds awesome, dude. So let's go into a little bit about your kayaking adventures, right? Or your kayaking ventures. Um, what are you planning to do in the Mississippi? And I've heard that you're trying to break records. So why don't you go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So I don't even know where the idea first originated from. I think that someone mentioned that I should just start doing. I believe it was my friend Austin a couple years back mentioned that I should start doing. Since my endurance is so good, I'm so good on running on a low amount of sleep that anything far distance, anything like the Appalachian Trail and whatnot, are things I should start trying to pursue. And that's when I started researching, how long it would take to kayak the Mississippi. Right now, the record's 45 days. And, honestly, with the amount of sleep that I can run on and my current endurance, I already think that I could crush that. So it's kind of the first, big excursion I think I'm going to try to push for. And from there, maybe try to pick up a few sponsors.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I think you could probably pick up sponsors with Denali as well. I think you're planning on including that in your portfolio per se, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that only 15 to 20,000 people have ever summited Denali. Uh, Very few have probably ever kayaked the entire Mississippi. So, just both of those alone, I think would, definitely open the doors for a couple sponsors.
No doubt. I mean, so you're looking to break records on the Mississippi River. Let's hear about your prep for that. what kind of gear, how big is your kayak, what kind of rig are you looking to do? I think you've mentioned to me before you were thinking about putting paddles on your hands as well. So let's hear about what your preparation is for kayaking the Mississippi.
Yeah, so the kayak that I'm looking for, probably looking to get something around 16 to 17 feet long, something that probably supports around 325 pounds worth of weight. And then my daily meal plans are all just going to be, freeze dried meals or dehydrated meals. Probably going to be looking to consume like 4,000 to 4,500 calories a day while on the river. But, I'm going to be burning a lot of calories too.
Yeah.
Uh, as far as like as far as the wrist straps go that you were talking about, one of the ideas that I had to avoid getting blisters on my hands, because I noticed that's a huge problem that a lot of people faced when first starting.
Mhm.
I was going to make like wrist straps to clip onto my paddles so I could paddle with just my wrists. And then I also wanted to get like a mirror mount on the front of my kayak so that, every couple hours I could then paddle backwards, use the mirror to see where I'm going, and I can switch up my muscle groups every couple of hours or every other day, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like a pretty elaborate plan. I mean, if you're sitting for that long and, you're in a kayak for what you're saying, 35 days, it could potentially be more than that, if it ends up, you don't hit that record. I think you will, but, sitting that amount of time in anything is going to cause some kind of atrophy. I would imagine. So like, even when when you're stopping, on the side of the river or anything, do you have any plans to maybe like get the blood flowing a little bit?
Yeah, definitely gonna have to do some running every single day because I'm not gonna be using my legs at all. So gonna have to do some running on top of that, and then also, I might have to make like some makeshift, use some bags or something to get some squats in. If you don't use your legs for 30 days, they're gonna be noodles by the time you're done. So that's not real healthy. So I've been looking into stuff like that. I've also been looking into like ways I could live stream, the majority of the trip. So there's just a couple of things here and there that I still got to do some research on, and just gonna start working on that over the next couple months or so, and try to get a more solid plan down.
Yeah, if getting some high quality portable batteries or something so you can charge up like your GoPro or something, because getting footage of those two feats would be incredible for I guess your brand, and getting a sponsor, or getting people excited about what you're doing. If you can record that, I mean, I think people are going to be amazed if you can complete these tasks. Like you're talking about running after you're done kayaking all day. One day, that's a lot. Doing that 35 days straight or 45 days straight, that's a lot. That's a lot of work, dude. And I think you can do it. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be something to behold if you can complete that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's definitely been one of the top things on my bucket list here for the past couple years. So it's cool. I'm finally getting around to it, and still a couple things I obviously got to look into, but I'm hoping that I might be able to do it by next fall, fall 2023. That's
Yeah.
kind of the goal at the moment, but we'll see how time goes.
Yeah, no doubt. So, when you are just at home, right, you have these massive, goals that you want to complete, right? But you have day to day, you have the week by week. What are you doing right now? On top of your job and things like that. Whether it's, I know you've talked about being in the gym, you talked about doing things outdoors. What are you doing right now that gets your body in shape?
So I've just been mostly just lifting 5 days a week, trying to get more into endurance training.
Yep.
I've been doing like some trying to get my rock climbing back on, especially now the weather's warming up. We don't really get a lot of good weather in Ohio, so it's kind of hard to do stuff during the winter. But yeah, mostly just endurance training. Started doing jujitsu like a month ago, so that's been going pretty well. And I think if I can keep up with the heavy weightlifting, mixed with the endurance training, I think that'll keep a lot of my stamina too.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've talked a little bit about with me personally. You do, is it you're cutting down trees. Is that what you're doing? Correct?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do tree removal
Okay.
Monday through Friday, so
Yeah.
it's a good workout on its own. I
Yep.
normally do tree removal from like 7 in the morning till about 4 in the evening. Come home, uh, shower up so I can go lift, and then after I lift, I normally do my stamina training, whether that's climbing or jujitsu, whatever it may be.
Yeah. So this kind of hits on a point that I try to make in a lot of my posts that I have, on my website, on my blog. I've talked about it a little bit. I hit home the importance of just walking because personally I sit all day at work, so I don't move a ton during the day. And the people that you see, obviously not everybody, everyone has their own story, and that's kind of what we're doing here. But I think that if people moved more on the day-to-day basis, they would be way better cardio shape, and then they would also look better. You burn more calories when you walk, and like what you're saying is, even in your daily job, you're moving every day. You're taking it a step further, and you're cutting down trees. Then you're going to the gym, and then you're doing this and that. Most people can't even get off their chair to walk. Once an hour or something. I mean, that's a lot for a lot of people. So
Yeah,
what you're talking about takes a ton of dedication. And I think that, what I want to do here is detail, what you do and what you're doing to get to your goals of, mountaineering and your goals of kayaking the Mississippi. And for people that want to be or want to complete goals that are similar to yours, I want to get a complete insight into what you do to prepare yourself. And even down to like we're talking about, even down to the granular level of, day to day, I cut down trees, and then I go to the gym, I do this and that. That's huge. I think that might even be the most important part rather than like specific mountaineering training. So I appreciate that insight you gave us.
yeah, absolutely. Another thing that's really been helping me too, I switched to cold showers. I think that's been giving me a lot more energy too. So, you come home and you just want to go right to sleep. You want to take a nap or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I started switching to cold showers, and it kind of gives me that second wind throughout the day. And then also just self discipline. I guess a lot of people will fight the urge to just go take a nap or just go watch TV for a little bit. I think if you can just fight the urge to even if you're going to try to sit down for 5 minutes, I think if you can fight that urge, then you'll be able to keep your energy up.
Yeah, no doubt. And Tyler, ever since I've known you, you've always been the type of guy to, if you needed to do something, if you needed money per se, you'd go do any job you needed to get money. And that's, that speaks to your discipline and your dedication, like you're talking about right now. I guess I want to bring up for a second. You mentioned cold showers. Have you ever tried like an ice bath per se? Because that's what we used to do that after football practice, and I would feel incredible afterwards.
Yeah, so I was actually going to start experimenting with that. I know that they say that you don't want to do any more than like 15 minutes at a time.
Mhm.
So I was going to just get like a barrel or a tub, and I was going to start doing that maybe once a week.
Yeah.
See how that goes, see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think that would be. I mean, I think that I think it might even be one step further than like a cold shower because you're sitting in a tub full of ice. Like it might not even be that big of a difference like in terms of temperature, but I think like the mental aspect of it might be a little bit worse. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more hardening, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely heard too that it helps with like muscle recovery. It gets the blood flowing in your system and gets the
Yeah.
blood moving into all of your muscle groups. So I know it's a big part of recovery too.
Yeah. So, you're talking about recovery, and one of the biggest parts of recovery is your diet. I mean, if you're lifting all the time and you're not eating enough protein, and you're not eating enough, just in general, you're not going to recover properly. So, I know you've told me a lot about your diet that's full of soy and a lot of you know a lot of candy, a lot of sugar, those kind of deals. So, why don't you go into a little bit what you do week to week in terms of meal prepping?
Yeah, so right now I've just been starting out with normally every day for dinner I've just been making these bowls. I do like rice bowls, and I switch up the meat every day. So whether it's beef, pork, chicken, and then I've been doing like 2 shakes a day. Uh, Basically same sandwich every day for lunch. So uh, yeah, other than that, I mean, a lot of grain too, oatmeal and grain. That's another big part of my diet. So
Wait, so you're telling me you're going for whole foods. I thought you told me before you're really into like tofu and stuff.
no, not this guy. No
No.
chance.
Okay, so you're more into the, chicken, you're into beef, you're into those kind of things, into, and like you're saying, like almost like a power bowl, right? Full of
Yeah.
rice and veggies. I think that's a really good post-workout recovery meal. A little bit better than what you had told me before. I think it was tofu with edamame on the side. I don't know where I got that, but
That wasn't for me.
no, I'm just kidding. I know that's not you. I mean, check out the mustache, guys. I mean, come on, you already know. So,
Yeah, I stay away from the soy.
you think that's a good idea? You think you need to, or you think that's just kind of like, whatever, Because there are studies out there that say, soy is what is it? I don't want to misspeak. I just want to say that there are studies out there that say that it inhibits testosterone or maybe it promotes estrogen. It's one of the two. What are your feelings about tofu and like plant-based products and things like that?
I think I've heard the same of what you just described. And I think both those things would be very bad. So
Yeah,
uh,
I think I need to do more research on it before I make, a final decision on it. And I think everyone should look into what they're eating very closely. But yeah, I definitely don't dabble in the plant-based lifestyle. I know some people do and they love it. I don't. And that's each their own. Tyler, I thought you were one of those guys. Apparently I'm wrong. But we should do way more research on it going forward. But either way, I just, thought I would talk about your meal prepping plan for anybody that wants to mountaineer or, anybody that wants to be high energy like this guy. So thank you for talking about that a little bit, Tyler. And I guess let's do a quick recap of, what we've covered today. So, you're Tyler Uher, you're from Akron, Ohio. High energy guy. You talk about wanting to climb Denali. You talk about wanting to, break records on the Mississippi River. Those are huge aspirations. I think you can definitely reach. And you know what? If there's anything I can do to help you get there, whether it's different gear, whether it's a GoPro, whether it's, even like, if you want a road trip out to Denali in my van or something, let's do it. I think that pushing the boundaries like you're talking about is something that everyone should reach for. And that's why I want to get your insight into what you're doing to reach those heights, because it is a unique perspective. A lot of people don't think the way you do. So picking your brain a little bit is definitely valuable information.
awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I think we should do an update too in maybe like a month or two. And we can recap, see how everything's going and what's changed in my diet and whatnot. So
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, keep sending me videos, you deadlifting and benching and stuff, dude. What'd you get? 185 for four the other
uh
day?
no, 175.
Okay. But you only weigh 130 pounds and you're like what, 5'7", right? 5'8"?
Yeah, I'm up to like 139 now.
Okay. So you've been putting
Yeah.
on a little bit of weight. Good weight.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Sounds good, man. So you're what is your timeline exactly? I know we might have already said it, but I want to kind of paste out our videos, for when I bring you back on to get an update. What's your timeline for Denali, or whether it's the Denali or kayaking the Mississippi, whichever one comes first?
Yeah, so it's looking like Denali is going to be, I said next June of 2023. So, even if we just want to do like an update like every 3 months until then, I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, yeah, that would be that's a great idea, Tyler. And I think down the line someday, once you've completed these, and maybe even before then, when you've kind of hammered out exactly what you did to get there, I think it'd be very valuable to even like write out like everything you did and everything you believe is important on the way there, to then people then that want to complete the same thing that you did, or they want to be more like you, they can read this plan and be like, okay, Tyler did this and he was able to climb Denali. I want to do that. So this is what I'm going to do. And that's what my vision is for SweatSpot going forward, is to be a hub for people to do things that are extraordinary. And, this isn't information that's like widely available. Like you said, not very many people mountaineer. So you climbing the tallest, what is it? The tallest mountain, right? Or the highest altitude, right?
Not highest altitude, just tallest from base to summit.
I mean, to me, that's record breaking. That's something that doesn't have a precedent. And I want you to set the precedent. I think that's a very important thing going forward for, humanity to move forward. It's breaking those barriers is great for everybody, and it's great for society in general. So I think you'd be doing a great service to the people of the United States of America.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you having me on today too.
Yeah, for sure, Tyler. And you know what? I'll catch up with you even before we do another video and see how you're doing. But until then, man, I appreciate you coming on. And, if you ever need anything, reach out. You're the first person on the SweatSpot series, not a podcast, interview series. So yeah, that should be, you should be excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to post this and, everyone get all this great information that we've talked about today.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for it.
All right. This is Big T signing off. Tyler Uher, SweatSpot interview series #1 coming to a close. What's your last closing statement, Tyler? Let's hear it. Nothing. He's got nothing for me.